Hi, kids! How are we doing today? Welcome to another episode of Mr. Stevens Algebra 1 Advanced Class. Yeah, I can't do that all hour. Okay, so, how you guys doing? How's things? Hopefully you're not driving your family too crazy and this isn't bugging you too much. Hopefully you've been able to get outside today. A little rainy this morning, but hopefully you're able to get outside, get some fresh air. That's really key in a situation like this. Try to get some fresh air. Try to keep some exercise. Don't just sit inside the house all day and go crazy. So let's jump right into it. Solving rational equations. Yesterday we talked about solving rational equations. We talked about finding extraneous solutions. We talked about focusing on our denominators. Well, today we're going to start there and then we're going to go a little farther. So we take a look at this first equation. 3, 4. I look at my denominators just like last week when we were adding and subtracting our rational expressions. When we are solving our equations, we need to find an LCD. So the LCD here is going to be 20. Remember, LCD is the least common denominator, the smallest number that all of your denominators go into, not what goes into them. So if we're looking at something like this, all three of these denominators go into 20. LCD. So now what we do with this LCD is we're going to multiply each fraction by that LCD. So when you multiply by 20, remember we talked about this a long time ago when you're simplifying fractions, I can simplify a numerator and a denominator. So I can simplify. What goes into both of these? 4. So now I do my multiplication. I have 15. What goes into both of these? Now I have 4x. Here, the 20s simplify to be 1. Remember, we don't use that evil C word. And now I have x. Now, I've got a simple equation that I can solve. This is going back to some semester 1 stuff. Get x by itself. Leave your answer looking just like that. So if we throw back to yesterday's conversation, extraneous solutions, my LCD, because that comes from just denominators, is there a variable in my LCD? No. So I have no extraneous solutions in a problem like this. There's no variables in my denominator. All right, we flash forward to number 2. Again, I need to figure out what I'm going to multiply by. I need to find my LCD. I got an x, I got a 5, and I got a 15. What would all three of those get into? Exactly right, 15x. So now I'm going to go through and I'm going to multiply each one by 15x. Each term in your equation gets multiplied by 15x. From there, we simplify. There should always be something that simplifies. First fraction, the x's are going to go. 45. Second fraction, the 5 and the 15 becomes 3. 4 times 3. Over here, the 15s. And I have 8x. Again, went through that a little quick, but all I'm doing is multiplying fractions. We don't write it out, but this is technically over 1 every time, so that makes it a numerator. When you have numerators and denominators, you can simplify. We don't usually write the over 1 part, but remember, I can simplify. When you're done with this, all of your denominators should be gone. They should simplify to 1. We don't use that evil C word. All of your denominators should be gone. If you notice that one of your denominators or a part of your denominator does not simplify, your LCD needs to be bigger. Now I'm down to an equation. Get my variables on the same side. There's my answer. I'm perfectly happy with you leaving those fractions in improper form. We're not worried about that. Save yourself a step. Make sure there's one less thing you can make a mistake on. I don't want you busting out a calculator here. Just write your answer improper and be done. All right, so now we get down to some really fun stuff. We've got some denominators that are binomials. All right, so now I look here. I got an x minus 3. I got an x minus 4. I got an x minus 3. I need to find my LCD. I'm going to get rid of this. We'll see. I'm going to find my LCD. My LCD here is both binomials, x minus 3, x minus 4. Hopefully you remember that from last chapter when we were adding and subtracting. This should look familiar. My LCD would be the two denominators. I throw another one in here, those match. I don't need it twice because it's in each fraction once. If one of these would be an x minus 3 squared, then I'd throw it twice because it's in the same denominator 2 times. Again, follow the same procedure we went through. Multiply by your LCD. I'm going to get rid of this real quick because it's in my way. The x minus 3 simplify because the entire binomial matches. Again, remember everything we just learned last unit? The entire binomial has to be the same in order to be able to simplify that to be 1. Don't use the evil C word. So now I've got a 5 and an x minus 4. That's a distribution problem. 5x minus 20. Here, I got an x minus 4 and an x minus 4. They gone. Be careful. What do we always look for? What trips us up? These bad boys right here. It's a subtraction sign. I didn't have that problem in either of my other two. It wasn't a concern. It's a concern here. So now I'm going to take care of this two things in one step. I'm going to distribute a negative 7. So I have taken care of things. So that gives me a minus 7x plus 21. Over here, again, x minus 3. Bye-bye. Distribute my 8. I have 8x and negative 32. Here we have equations. Solve the equation like normal. Combine like terms on the same side. Get my variables on the same side, get my constants on the other. You know me, I like my variables on the left-hand side. If you want to put your variables on the right because you like positive numbers, you be you, will get the same answer at the end. So I come over here. And again, a big, ugly, improper number, but I'm perfectly happy with that. Now let's go back to the conversation from last week. What are my extraneous solutions? What can my answer not be? Well, I go back to my LCD and I set those equal to 0. Again, a quick work means x cannot be 3 or 4. I check down here. I don't have those answers. I don't have a problem. Tomorrow we'll talk about what happens when they do have problems. There we go. I'll throw one more at you. Number 4. Again, same process. Find your LCD. I got an x squared and an x. Again, flashback to last unit. We take the highest exponent on what they have in common. Actually, not even in common. On any variables that show up, we take the highest exponent. So my LCD is x squared. Multiply everything by x squared. Do you have to write it out every time? You know, you really should until you really get the hang of this stuff so you're not losing track of things. It'd be really easy here to lose track of an x minus 3 and not take care of it the second time. You really should write out what your LCD is every time you're doing the multiplication. So I come through a number 4, x squared. Bye-bye. I got a 4 left. what's happening here? I got x squared that I multiplied by. I got an x in the denominator. How many x's are we going to have left? Exactly, 1x left. So that gives me a 5x here. Both x squareds are gone. 3, solve the equation. Get the variables on one side, get the constants on the other. I'm subtracting 4. I have negative 5x equals negative 1. Divide. I check my extraneous solutions. Set my LCD equal to 0. Square root both sides. X cannot be 0. X is not 0. That's not a problem. All right. That's the lesson. Find your LCD. We know how to do that from last chapter. Multiply every part of the equation by your LCD. All of your denominators should be gone. They should simplify to be 1 after you do that multiplication step. Be careful when you have binomials. Distribute. Watch your negative signs. Distribute. And then from there, we've got equations to solve. Get x by itself. If they're already on the same side, combine like terms first, then get the x by itself. Again, as usual, you got questions, hit me up in the comments. Post them in the comments. Maybe your classmates can help you out here if I can't get to it quickly, but I've been got my phone in my hand. I've been pretty responsive. And then the other thing, of course, is take care of yourself. Take care of your mental, take care of your physical. Get outside, get some exercise. Don't sit in the house all the time. And if you guys need anything, make sure you're reaching out to me or to someone on campus so we can get you helped out. All right, guys, take care, and I'll talk to you later.